You've seen bosses that throw aside your efforts after a lengthy battle like nothing happened. It's an annoyance for sure, but some bosses go the other way. Whether it's killing themselves before a fight, entering battles knowing the player will kill them, or committing suicide rather than facing defeat, these bosses went out on their own terms. So let's take a look at 15 of those right here. SAREN, Mass Effect 1. It's extremely telling that SAREN Arterius is still one of the best villains BioWare has ever created. However, for all his cunning and brutality, it's a testament to Shepard's will that SAREN can basically kill himself. If your Paragon level is high enough, then Shepard will tell SAREN to fight off the influence of Sovereign. SAREN sees the light of reason and shoots himself, thanking Shepard and preventing a tough boss battle in the process, and triggering the final battle. The Master, Fallout 1. Don't want to battle the Master and deal with his army of super mutants? Fallout 1 presented a very unique solution. If you have Vree's autopsy report, which indicated that super mutants are sterile, and a high speech skill, then the Master could be convinced that all his plans were for naught. Unable to bear the revelation, he plans to kill himself by detonating a nuke under the vault, but offers the protagonist a chance to escape first. Take that chance, and lo and behold, the Master is no more. Dyne, Final Fantasy VII. Villains realizing the error of their ways and killing themselves is a trope that's fairly well known in gaming. In the case of Dyne, Barrett's old friend, it's all the more emotional. As Marlene's father, he has this twisted notion of killing his daughter so she can be with Eleanor, his deceased wife. After losing to Barrett and realizing his terrible acts, Dyne kills himself by jumping off a cliff, but before entrusting Marlene to his friend. General Jingwei, Fallout 3, Operation Anchorage. Jingwei can be a real pain to fight. Between a high damage resistance and his health pool, especially at higher levels, you'd think there would be an easier way to beat him. As it turns out, if your speech skill is high enough, you can tell Jingwei that it's all over and he's better off giving up. In response, the general will refuse to be captured and simply impales himself on his sword. Vamp, Metal Gear Solid 4, Guns of the Patriots. Vamp is insanely durable thanks to the nanomachines in his body, shrugging off a headshot in Metal Gear Solid 2 among other things. However, when injected with the nanomachine suppressor by Snake at one point in Metal Gear Solid 4, his pain tolerance starts going down. After his final battle with Raiden, Vamp is in a state of utter woe, which, hey, being sliced up and falling off of Metal Gear Rex will do that. But he's still alive thanks to the nanomachines. It's only when Naomi gives him another nanomachine suppressor and he injects himself with it that Vamp finally dies for good. The Elusive Man, Mass Effect 3. All debate about the indoctrination theory and whether it was how the game should have ended or not aside, the Elusive Man is an incredible character. Despite his intelligence, it's amazing to see him fall so far, attempting to control the Reapers only to become indoctrinated in the process. However, as with SAREN, Shepard can convince the Elusive Man to resist their control, which leads to the Elusive Man painfully admitting that he tried before killing himself. Pyramid Head, Silent Hill 2. Though lurching through Silent Hill 2 with an imposing cleaver makes Pyramid Head oh so scary, he's not actually the bad guy. That would be James Sunderland, the protagonist, who euthanized his dying wife Mary. Emotional frustration and outbursts from Mary notwithstanding, James felt immense guilt from his actions and Pyramid Head was manifested from his psyche for the sake of punishment. Upon James finally realizing this, Pyramid Head kills itself. James is left to his own devices, with the ending depending on the choices that the players made. Maiden ASTRAEA, Demon's Souls. As the most impure soul, and yet commanding the loyalty of Garl Vinland, Maiden ASTRAEA doesn't really put up any kind of a fight. After defeating Garl, ASTRAEA will kill herself rather than fight, giving the player the Demon's Soul. Perhaps more depressing is that if you kill ASTRAEA first, using the proper ranged build, Garl will lower his head and not attack you. That is, unless you attack him. Leon Bell, Dead Rising 2. A former Supercross racer who looked up to protagonist Chuck Green, Leon Bell has descended into psychopath status following the zombie outbreak. As part of the Meet the Contestants mission, everything is a game to Bell, and killing humans awards double points. Eventually, after being defeated by Chuck in a race, Bell proceeds to set himself on fire. As he burns to death, he screams to Chuck that he's number one. Sure thing, pal. Asgore, Undertale. Getting to this point requires killing Flowey, and a neutral run first and then starting up a new run. Once you encounter Asgore again, before becoming friends with Alphys, you can choose to spare the king instead of finishing him off after the fight. Unfortunately, Asgore will offer his own soul to you. His words about living as a family with the player and an Azrael before realizing that it's all just a fantasy make his sacrifice sting all the more. M. Bison, Street Fighter. As one of the tougher fighting games bosses back in the day, M. Bison took some effort to bring down. But whatever happened to him after the player won? As it was revealed in Street Fighter IV Aftermath, Bison wasn't killed by Akuma. Instead, upon losing to Ryu and friends, he was asked to surrender. When attempting to eradicate everyone, including himself, by releasing all of his psycho power, it backfired and killed just himself. So if you're wondering why he needs a new body, that's why. XION, Kingdom Hearts 358 2 Days. XION, Roxas, and Axel have quite the sad story. Roxas is Sora's nobody, but possesses no memories, thus essentially living a false life. Then you have XION, a creature born from Sora's memories that's simply meant to be a backup for Roxas. After learning that her existence is taking away Roxas' life, XION does the only thing she can: battle Roxas to ultimately die and fully piece together Sora's memories while ensuring her friend lives on. She's then forgotten, sort of. It's kind of a long story. Matriarch BENEZIA, Mass Effect. Working in collusion with SAREN, Matriarch BENEZIA poses a tough fight. After finally defeating her, she reveals that both she and SAREN have been indoctrinated by the Reaper Sovereign. Unfortunately, Sovereign's influence is too strong. BENEZIA will thus attack Shepard's squad, causing them to kill her. Saying her final goodbye to Liara, BENEZIA crumples, frantically crying about no light in death. AKIRA Nishikiyama, Yakuza. Kiryu finally battles his once best friend Nishiki in a savage contest. Of course, our hero emerges victorious, but it isn't long before the surly politician Kyohei Jingu appears. After shooting Yumi in an effort to kill Kiryu, Nishiki stabs Jingu. He then shoves himself and Jingu into a nearby vault, going out in a fiery blaze of glory to save Haruka and Kiryu. For all those times that fate was out of his control, Nishiki finally took his life into his own hands and redeemed himself in the process. Sir Alon, Dark Souls 2, Crown of the Old Iron King. The coolness factor for Sir Alon is simply off the charts. Wielding a massive katana, he moves quickly, strikes decisively, and looks pretty badass on top of it all. If you defeat him using a katana yourself, then Alon will follow his samurai way and commit seppuku, seemingly dying with honor rather than choosing to be completely felled by a player. And that wraps it up. If you like what we're doing, please consider subscribing to our channel. We upload new videos daily. Also, don't forget to switch on the bell notification icon, that way you don't miss out on any of our videos.